Be a lot of questions about, staffing players and all those things. Just want to let you guys know that I'll take the week to make those decisions on staffing and all those things. So before everybody gets started, just want to let you guys know that. Fire away.
Talking with the guys, they all said they feel like this is a team that's close to taking that next step, where they'll take more. Will Anderson referenced a sense of urgency about everything and attacking the offseason that way. What do you think of that message and kind of that approach to it?
I agree with everything Will Anderson says. He's spot on there. It will take that sense of urgency consistently from everyone to, get to where we want to get to. So I mentioned to our guys today, like my position and my role is to take this organization to new heights. And new heights for us is finding a way to get to the AFC Championship. So we haven't been as an organization, and to do that, we need, everybody on board, like Will Anderson, a guy who is the flag bearer for Swarm and the mentality and everything that we need from our entire team.
I feel like it did take a little bit longer for you all to get things going offensively, the way you wanted it to kind of go.
Overall, offensively, we have to improve. It wasn't where we wanted to be. There were challenges throughout the year, just like that's every year. You have challenges, you have ups and downs, where you try to figure out the course of who you have and how to make it work. But we have to improve.
What is the decision to start Shaq at right guard after Juice had played there for a couple of games?
Yeah, Shaq had a really good week of practice. Shaq has been working a while to get back with us, get back out there, and thought he had a really good week. And the overall, it was good. It wasn't good from collectively of how we protected, but it's not just one person.
Go ahead. I know you're really big on, this year's this year, last year's last year. So with that being said, one, how would you look at this year now that the season is over? And two, just as a coach, what is today like for you, knowing that this group, it won't look the same next year, and once again the season is kind of just coming to a close?
When I look at this year specifically, I am proud of our guys and for accomplishing what we accomplished this year, to win a division, to get into the playoffs, right, get to the divisional round. Like, I'm proud of our guys for that. But for me as a coach, as a competitor, that's not what I put all the work in for, is just to get to the divisional round and just be excited about that just because of where the Texans were before. I'm just supposed to be pleased with getting to the divisional round. That's not why I work. Like, I work to win, and we didn't get the job done. We didn't make enough plays to win the game, to get over the hump. So for me, it's like good year, but not good enough in my mind. And for me, it's how do we take the organization to new heights. So I'm looking at all areas to improve our football team.
How do you feel Bobby Slowick did in year two as a play caller?
I think overall with Bobby, I saw some growth, saw some improvement throughout the year.
Coach, when you said that you were going to take some time to do, look at your staff as a whole, look at the roster as a whole, and then you're going to make those decisions throughout the week. How hard is that, knowing that some of these guys that may not be here next year, because this is a business and there is turnover on teams in the NFL? How hard is that to tell a player that we're not going to retain you or bring you back, even though they gave their all throughout the year?
Having those difficult conversations with players, it's always tough, right? Any time you have to tell a guy no, that's probably one of the toughest parts of this job, is having to tell players no. But we'll see how things shape out. There's no no's being said right now because me having a view of these guys for the entire year and seeing the work that they put in, right, behind the scenes, knowing what a lot of guys have to deal with to just get themselves ready to go for a game. Like, man, I tell our guys, man, it's nothing but respect, admiration, and love for the effort and everything that they go through to get themselves ready to go and to play the style of play that I asked them to play. Like, very appreciative for every guy that stepped into, our room this year. And as I tell them, they're always my players. No matter how it shapes out, you never know, right? You can go somewhere else, but we can always end back up together again.
Is that the same way with the staff as well? Because you said that at the beginning of the year two is the year for you to focus on the coaches, So is that the same way as well?
Yeah, same way for coaches. There'll be, as always, teams change, right? As the room never stays the same. As players, coaches, support staff, it never stays the same, right? That's how this business has been since I've been involved in almost 20 years now. It changes every single year. So that happens. There'll be difficult conversations to have, but that's the nature of what we do.
I know you said after the game that you hadn't seen Kris Boyd push Frank Ross, and I'm sure you've seen it by now. I wondered if you could give us your reaction and thoughts to that kind of reaction, especially in a playoff game when you're trying to get going and something like that happens.
Correct. Seeing the play for Boyd, we give up the long run to start the game, which is not what we want to do. Missed a couple tackles there, and looking at it again, you see Boyd gets the ball out, and I think he thought that we recovered the ball, and he made a big time play to get the ball back for our team. And that's something we talked about for our special teams going into this game is, like, let's affect the game by getting the ball. I thought Boyd thought that he did that, got the ball back, and he came over with the, excitement, overly excited that he made a play. But we can't lose our minds in that sense of taking our helmet off. We still have to remain poised, right? You cannot take your helmet off in a game. Everyone knows that, understands the rules. So instead of, helping us, it ended up hurting us. And I don't think he was pushing Frank in a disrespectful manner. I think it was more so he was fired up, overly fired up, then thought he made a play to help us. So that narrative that he's pushing a coach, or that's incorrect.
CJ was just talking about he needs to have some uncomfortable conversations, he thinks, or at least some very honest ones this offseason with people. And it all starts with setting a high standard that needs to be maintained during offseason. Do you feel like the standard wasn't set as high as you may have thought it was going to be set, or that needs to be adjusted?
Well, the standard that I set is always high, and as you guys hear me speak every week, it's about consistently improving every single week. So the standard is there. It's just everybody being on board with that. That's where, when you look at games, when the ball is snapped and there's action, and you got to go make plays, is everybody playing up to that standard? And if I'm correct, that's what I think CJ is mentioning. And that standard, when you get to the divisional game, what it takes to win. It takes everybody being bought in, dialed in, mentally and physically, being on it and not having any lapses. That's that standard that we did not live up to in the game, and that's why we didn't win the game, because we didn't play up to our standard mentally or physically.
This time last year, you had mentioned about trying to shore up the line of scrimmage, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Offensively this year, just what do you guys have to focus on trying to shore that group up?
With our line positions, offensively, defensive line, that's where you win games. So we have to improve in both areas. So we'll look at all ways to improve on both sides.
When you the guys get ready for the off season, how do you advise them? I know you want everybody to get some break for a minute, but how would you like to see them approach the off season until they come back?
Yeah, the main thing, I think, to start, I think everybody needs a little break to get started, allow their bodies a chance to, recover and heal up, because a lot of guys are dealing with little nicks and injuries, so they need their bodies to heal. And what I encourage our guys, and mainly a lot of our young guys, is to make sure they're here in the off season working out. As soon as we can have our guys back in the building working out, we want our guys to take advantage of that and be able to work out here, with our staff who knows their bodies the best. So that's what I encourage our guys to do. It's very hard to show up the first day of off season training and to expect yourself to be ready to go at training camp. That's just a little too late, and there's not enough time, that 9-week window, to get yourself ready to go for the season. So you can make a lot of gains, a lot of strides in your physical health, your body. You can put yourself in a really good spot to have a successful season if you start working out as soon as possible, right after the Super Bowl.
What do you have a general sense of what Tank Dell will be able to play in 2025?
We'll continue to assess Tank and see where he ends up. It's too early right now to put a timeline on it. We'll just give him time to heal and progress, see how the rehab goes.
If I could ask a follow-up question to that, and obviously you don't know now, but if by chance he does miss time in 2025, that what's the urgency to try to find another receiver?
I'm not going to live in the ifs. And right now, we'll see where we are. We'll look to improve our team in every area.
I don't know if you've had any time to reflect. I know it's been a whirlwind probably, but would you be able to think about like what about this team made you the most proud, or like what you'll remember most about this squad specifically?
What I'm most proud of with this team is just, I said it earlier, it's the resiliency of our team. Like, we were a lot of ups and downs throughout the year, but I felt like our foundation was really solid. We built a really solid foundation in training camp. And what I truly believe in is guys building tight connections, the tight bond. And I felt like we built that. And we have a great foundation here, great foundation. A lot of young players as well are the core of that foundation. So I'm really excited about that and continue to add to what we have already. We got a lot of great players, a lot of great young players that can help us go to the next level. And they showed that throughout this season. And through all of the, different lineup changes, guys are in and out. What I'm proud of as well is nobody complained about anything. Like, guys went out, they played hard, they played their best, learned through some tough losses, all right, and celebrated some nice victories as well along the way. But just proud of the resiliency of the entire team.
DeMeco, year 2 is in the books now. When do you have your Damascus Road moment to go back and, jettison looking inside of you, getting ready for year 3?
Yeah, I'll take some time to just reflect on the season. Right now, so many things that are going on as we finish up the season. A lot of conversations to be had, a lot of decisions to be made, and once that happens over the next month or so, I'll take that time for myself to reflect and recharge.
Joe Mixon expressed confidence in Nick Caserra's ability to build a roster. Said he's got things cooked up, the fireworks are on the way. How do you guys approach that offseason of wanting to not just come back with the same team, wanting to always be upgrading and looking for the best talent you can get into the roster?
As me and Nick approach the offseason, doesn't change. That's every year we're looking to improve our roster as best as we can to put out a winning team.
Last year, you guys, division around, you guys lost, by I think like 24 points. This year, it was a one-score game in the fourth quarter. So obviously, you guys made some improvement in that aspect. How close do you feel like you guys are to get over that hump, and what do you feel like you guys have to do to be able to get over that hump to where you guys break through and closer to the Super Bowl?
To get over the hump, we had to play better in those games. Right, it takes a lot of work, a lot of effort to get there. You don't just start the next year at the divisional round. Like, you have to earn your right to get there. So 2025 would be a reset. See, how that team comes together and how close of a bond we can create, and what that journey will be like will look different than this year's journey. So, but to get over any hump, you got to go earn that right again, right? And when you get there, you got to do what it takes to win the game and not have self-inflicted mistakes. The teams that are still standing are teams that don't shoot themselves in the foot. They put themselves in good positions to play complementary football, and they do it well together. And that's why they're at the end. So if we want to be there, we just got to do our jobs and do it on a consistent basis.
Go ahead, Sam.
A lot of players today have expressed their support for bringing back Stephon Diggs this offseason, and just kind of how much his leadership meant to this team. Kind of what does player input go into kind of making a decision like that, and how much weight does that carry?
Yeah, I won't get into specifics of each player, but me and Nick will look at the roster and see where we can add guys to help our team win, right? And that's what we'll do, and each player is different.
What does it say about this team, knowing that all the adversities that you all went through as far as, dealing with the injuries and have to reshuffle things, that you got to the point that you are, but to also, after year 1, going into year 2, there was a lot of players on the outside looking in who wanted to play for the Texans? Do you think that you all also did enough to recruit some of those players, you know, the free agents that are going to be out there now, to bring them in?
And we'll see what that pool of players looks like. I haven't even looked at the free agent list and seen what it looks like, but I know the guys that we had, man, they gave us everything. Right, everything that I asked those guys to do, they did it. Right, and it was fun to work with all the guys that we had this year. And of course, you always love to bring all the guys back because I know what they're about. But we know it all. It doesn't all work that way. It has to work two ways, both ways there. So again, man, as many good players want to come here, as many good players as we can add, like, we're about that. And so I'm pleased with this year and where our guys were. The guys we added were definitely helped us to get to where we were this year. And again, you know, we're close, but close isn't good enough. So we'll keep working to find a way to get over that hump.
How long does it take you before you take a step back from football and just, you know, spend time with the family and just be DeMeco Ryans instead of being head coach DeMeco Ryans?
Yeah, hopefully I can get there after this week, but we'll see. You never know how long that'll take.
You going?
Oh, go for it.
Okay. Well, when you look at players building this team, one of the things you always talked about was, you know, culture and resilience. But what is that thing that you identify when you're putting the guys together to get this buy-in that you got? You know, you said the team is close-knit. What is it that you look for that you say, this will fit, this person will fit here, beyond just what they do on the field?
What I look for in guys is, first off, it's all about, you know, the play style. Right? They have to be good players and have to enjoy playing football. And you get enough guys who love playing football and love what they do, then they fit in here. Right? And you want guys who are good people as well, hearing about how they treat teammates, how are they in other locker rooms. That's important as well, because we want to, of course, take this organization to new heights, but we want to do it with good people. And you do special things by doing it with special people. And I truly believe in that. And we take a lot of thought, take a lot of time into figuring out who those people are that we bring into our organization.
Outside of your own assessment of how you did as a head coach, is there another coach or a person that you lean on to go through and evaluate how you did and get feedback from them?
I go to Cody, see how I did. I'm leaning on you to give me my honest assessment. Whenever you're ready, I want to hear what you got. All right. No, MJ will give it to me. He's still upset we lost that game. Good. No, thank you guys for the year. Or just want to thank you guys for all the work you guys put in as well, and all of the graciousness, great people here. Enjoy working with you guys as well. So thank you guys. Y'all have a good off season.